Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user ThrowArray9090897. Fiance, 27 female, threatening to call off wedding if I, male 26, don't let her parents, male 57 and female 50, move in with us after the wedding. Obviously, this comes off as a rich people problem, but until 5 months ago, I was still living in a one-bedroom apartment, working at a rather large supermarket retail store, making $12 an hour and going to be paying off college debt until I was in my 60s. My fiance is still working at her nursing job, and we've been living together for 4 years. So, to get started, I'll give you some background into our relationship. We met 6 years ago. There were literally zero issues with us dating. When it came to some sort of conflict, we sat down, explained both of our sides like adults, and generally fixed the problem. We've rarely gotten into arguments and have the same end goals in life. Children, grow old together, die, be buried next to each other, and have fun whenever we can. I've always had an incredibly distant relationship with her parents. When she introduced me to them, they both stated they didn't like me to my face and thought I wasn't good enough for her. Her father even said, "Not in my lifetime," when I asked for permission to marry his daughter. I stated that the only reason I was doing it was to give him an olive branch. My parents, on the other hand, love my fiancée. They scooped her up like she was one of us from the start. They never said anything bad about her in public, nor have they in private. She, at least in my parents' eyes, is the metaphorical second coming of Christ. During my grandfather's decline in health, I was the first one there. He just got old, and with being old comes complications. I stopped working my higher paying job to work retail to have more time to take care of him because his other children were busy. This was a very stressful time in our relationship. I had just recently left my job, was not around often, and was super stressed. Now, after my grandfather's death 6 months ago, I inherited 90% of his wealth with a no-contest will. He granted me not only enough money never to work again, but also a massive estate, which he claimed was his hunting cabin. It's big enough to comfortably fit my fiancé, my parents, and her parents. And recently, I've begun the slow move of everything over there, while we still have to live in our apartment until the lease is up. There's nothing against the rules of me moving stuff. I brought up to my girlfriend how taking care of my grandfather has really made me realize how important my family is. And I wanted to know if it was okay for my parents to move into the new house with us. My dad could retire and my mom could spend the rest of her life relaxing, not stressing over bills and debt. Because I can pay that off over time, I'm not insane enough to pay it all in one go. She expressed how that was an amazing idea and how she'd like her parents to move in as well. I laughed at the idea and asked her if she was serious and why would I want to live in a house with people I don't like nor want to interact with. She explained that this could be a good chance for us to heal old wounds and make amends. I explained that not only do I not want to heal old wounds, if it were up to me, they wouldn't be coming to the wedding. Obviously, this was the wrong thing to say and now she's giving me the ultimatum of let them move in or the wedding is off. While I understand her side, I seriously do not want to interact with them in any capacity. They've tried numerous times to get her back with exes, lie about me, and even spread a rumor about me being unfaithful until I pulled up real evidence of me being nowhere near where they said I was, thanks to Google location. My fiancé knows all of this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. This past week, I've been avoiding her with excuses and white lies. I've been meeting with accountants, lawyers, wedding venue people, and jewelers. I've also been pulling all-nighters at my grandfather's grave, drinking with him, and not getting back home until 4 a.m. To me, my grandfather is still the only person I can vent my deepest secrets and frustrations to. This is why I've come to you, Reddit. I feel trapped. On the one hand, I do not want to live with people I absolutely hate. And on the other hand, I do not want to lose the woman of my dreams. I want a third-party opinion on the matter with no connection to me whatsoever, as I feel it's the best way to make a good judgment without people close to me influencing my choices. To those who will ask, no, common law does not apply to us, and after a heated debate, she agreed to sign a prenup with witnesses around if I agreed to buy her a nice ring and a vacation once a year. She clearly isn't with me for the money. Well, OP, I absolutely understand why you wouldn't want to be around those people. They sound absolutely horrible considering they've been trying to sabotage your relationship from the get-go every chance they get. And the part about this that confuses me is that even though your girlfriend knows about all of this, she still wants you to try to have a relationship with them, and she's still having a relationship with them? And to me, that sounds like a huge red flag. I mean, we're talking about the person who wants to spend the rest of her life with you, but she still is okay with her parents treating you like crap. And not only that, she's issuing an ultimatum whether you let them live with you or the wedding is off. That would give me a huge pause regarding the whole relationship. Now, having said all that, if you are still dead set on marrying this person, then I would take all parents out of the equation. And by this I mean, have you considered helping your parents out without having them move in with you and your future wife? And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your advice? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Reddit poster over 9000 says, "You're nuts at your age and with a potential fresh marriage to even entertain as a joke the idea of your psycho in-laws mooching off you before the ink is even dry on the marriage certificate. You already know she's after your money. Find a better partner that doesn't issue 'I'll dump you unless' ultimatums. If she's the woman of your dreams, dream bigger. She sounds like a nightmare." Imo Throw says, "They are cruel to your face and have actively tried to break up your relationship, but your fiance wants to be tight with them and move them in? This is a flat-out deal breaker. I'm serious. You should end the relationship over this. Her job as your partner is to protect you from abusers, and instead she wants to force abusers into your life. She is utterly failing you as a partner. You need to be no contact immediately with her parents, and you don't live with people that you are no contact with. If she chooses to have a relationship with them, fine, but it's not going to involve you, and it certainly won't involve your future kids, because if they can't respect you, they don't get to have a relationship with your children either. But honestly, you need to break up. Spend some time and just know Mill to see how awful your future is going to be if you marry somebody who allows their parents to treat you like dirt." And Chebek Host says, "She expects you to take care of people who hate you. Do not give in to her demands. Honestly, I don't think you should get married to her because of the manipulation alone. Her parents are manipulative. Now you see where she gets it from. Red flags." Additional information from OP's comments. After reading your comments, I'd like to address a few things about my thought process, because I did think about what ifs, and I'll die before I let her parents move in. Now, my parents would keep the proceeds from selling their house as I do not need it. Utilities are not an issue. I own the water rights to a natural aquifer and spring thingy underground. As for power, a lot of it is solar energy, which can keep the house going non-stop as long as it's charged. My grandfather was one of those doomsday, the government is out to get you crazy old men. And I planned to have my parents enter a rental contract. Just in case they piss me off, I can evict them. As for insurance, my dad served 23 years in the military, and my mom, being his wife, gets that insurance as well. Unless they run out of money, they'll be paying their own insurance. While technically speaking, I'd be buying their groceries, my father and I love to hunt and fish, so a lot of our food will be produced on our own. Mom has always wanted a garden, and she can't grow one in the city. Also, no, they wouldn't go on trips with us. I thought in great detail about how my parents would be independent of my finances, and my parents have never done me wrong, never given up on me, and encouraged me my entire life. The least I can do is make the rest of theirs something they never dreamed would come true. I want them to be happy, and I want them to be close. I've already been working closely with accountants and lawyers. They've all projected that moving my parents in and living with them for the next 30 to 40 years of my life will not dent my money in any significant way. I've already invested money and put money into accounts to generate interest. As for the hypothetical, if her parents did move in, I wouldn't be paying for anything and they'd be paying me the real price to live on the property and extra because I don't like them. I don't expect her parents to respect me, my money, or my home. We've talked about them disrespecting me and how I have gone no contact with her parents already. She talks to them 2 to 3 times a week. I haven't spoken to them since her dad said no to my proposal question. They are a massive thorn, and the issue is that I've learned to live with the pain. Also, I stated that she isn't with me for the money because we've been together for 6 years and I got the money 6 months ago. But I wanted a prenup to protect the estate and money because my grandfather left it to me, not us. A ring and vacation seriously aren't that huge of a deal. I hate the idea of rings. I think they're just stupid overpriced rocks. So the community was raising all the possible red flags for OP and it seems like he has seen some of them. So let's move on with the update to see how the story ends. This will be my only update post, and I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for their opinions. While most of you have told me to leave, others offered compromises and logical alternatives and asked me questions I didn't even think to ask myself. I think this has been the longest 48 hours of my life. Reading through comments, responding to them, having meetings in person and talking with my fiance has really given me clarity on what my next choices in life are going to be. 1. I've postponed the wedding. While some of you may refer to it as calling her bluff, I call it waiting and seeing. As of right now, we're really talking about how compatible we truly are, going over our goals in life again, and talking in depth about the relationship we want with our in-laws if we get married. Apparently, a lot has changed since the last time we talked about it. Before I got money, some of you called it. 2. Yes, she genuinely thought moving her parents in would make my relationship with them better over time. I've expressed that as a result of all they've said and done to me, any positive relation or communication with them will only be done out of necessity. For example, if she was pregnant, in the hospital, or in any life-altering complications or celebration. She did not take this well, but that was expected. She believes I'll come around and try to build a relationship with her parents, but as of right now, I can't see myself doing it. 3. My parents won't be moving in as I haven't even asked them yet. I know some of you were confused or assumed it was already happening. It was not. I asked if it was okay if they could, not telling her that it was happening. Some of you suggested that maybe moving them in as newlyweds was weird and suggested building them a small house on the property. I didn't think about that and will talk to my accountant and parents about it whenever that conversations need to be discussed. Nice idea, Reddit strangers. 4. What have I been doing? A lot of meetings about my future, finances, and setting up trusts and wills. I'll be re-enrolling in school to take classes on business, finances, accounting, and economics, as my accountant suggested I do. We're still working on a budget, but as of right now, my next steps are furthering my education to manage my newfound wealth and opportunity in a healthy way as not to blow it. As of right now, to be honest, I'm emotionally drained. I think the weight of my grandfather's death is finally hitting me despite it being months later, and the only thing that kept me going was the idea of the wedding day. With that being postponed, I can really only focus on myself, my values, and my emotions. Staying up all night and drinking at the gravesite isn't healthy, and I've not only promised myself to cut back on the booze, but also not stay up drinking. I've been thinking about maybe getting into some sort of therapy or grief counseling, but I'd need to make sure that this is in the budget with my accountant and that's a long-term thing. Maybe they know someone. 5. Couples counseling. To those who suggested it, that's a wonderful idea. However, I'm not sure if I can move past her strange dependent relationship with her parents. Initially, I thought I could, but with the rose-tinted goggles off, I'm starting to see a lot of red flags that I'm not too confident a therapist or wedding can solve. We both have issues we need to work through, but right now, I'm not sure if we'll be working through them together. I know a lot of you said to drop the relationship, but I think after 6 years, it's worth giving it a try to save it. Making a choice like that without trying to fix the problem seems silly, but I did expect a lot of those answers to come through. It's just how Reddit is. Just know that I know my worth, I know my values, and I'm not backing down. Maybe we won't work things out and the relationship will just end. Maybe things will work out and we can continue. At least for now, 48 hours later, it's too soon to tell. 6. As for the prenup, we haven't signed anything yet. A lot of you were really harping on the nice ring and fancy vacations once a year thing. While the vacation compromise is indeed concerning, the ring issue is something we've been having conflict on for a while. My personal opinion before and now is that rings are overpriced, silly, and serve no significant purpose in a relationship. She says that they're an important symbol of love and commitment. The compromise to the prenup in regards to the ring was that I actually bought her a better ring than I already had, which sounds super predatory in those words, but it makes sense in my mind. She doesn't want a Titanic heart of the ocean style jewelry piece, just something a bit more noticeable. I probably should have elaborated on that in my original post, but hey, we all make mistakes. To some, it sounds like a gold digger mentality, but I know the price range of the rings she wants, and it's about the same range my dad spent on my mom's ring. It's something you'd see in a middle-class woman's finger. Nothing huge, nothing small, just enough, I guess. I still think they're just silly circles of metal and compressed dirt. About our conversation, there's not much to say. We sat down and talked for a while. I explained my side of things, and she explained hers. She was upset I was postponing the wedding, but once she realized I wasn't going to fold, she agreed to the notion that it was best for our relationship to work on this before marriage. Right now, I'm taking a step back from her to clear the air and give us time to formulate what we want on our own. I've driven the 2 hours to the cabin. Thankfully, the internet people hooked that up yesterday. I've also talked to my parents, not about them like moving in, but about the situation as a whole. I left out that I went to the internet before I went to them. While my dad can't just abandon his job, he sends his love and support. My mom is currently making the 18-hour drive, so I wouldn't be alone by myself. I've gotten attempted phone calls from the in-laws within the last 24 hours, but I've watched them ring and gone back to doing my everyday tasks like lawn work, meal prep, reading, and binge watching Netflix. It's strange, but right now I feel happier alone than I do with my fiance. Maybe it's some sign that it's not meant to be, or that I've finally been able to relax for the first time in years and have found comfort in solitude. Maybe I'm happy my mom is going to cook me my favorite dinner as a child to cheer me up. I think, as of right now though, I have a lot of work to do, not only emotionally, but also literally. I'm thinking about doing some telework just to have still a mainstream income part-time, as I'll probably get bored of being jobless in about a week. I need some hobbies. Well, OP, I have to say, I think this is a really good and mature update. You've really put a lot of thought into what's going on in your life now and what's going to happen in the future. I think going to school to learn all these things so that you don't blow this estate is a great idea. Along with the couples counseling, I think that'll be good for you guys too. But like you say, who knows if this works out or not? The thing is, you're okay and you're moving forward. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care and thank you for sharing. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user MoonsoonRob. Placed my roommate's cell phone number in every account while I worked as a debt collector. So, in my early 20s, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment and had one of my friends move in with me. Everything was great at first, but soon realized I had made a mistake. Any and all things that make a bad roommate, this one man consisted of. I, to this day, have never had another roommate. One day, while I was at work, I had a time-sensitive issue that I needed to discuss with him, and when I tried to reach him on the phone, he didn't pick up. He was notorious for not answering his phone. He would get a call, and 9 out of 10 times, he would just set it back down. So, I called again, and once again, he didn't answer. I then called him on the auto dialer so my work's number would show up and he picked up on the first ring. I hung up and for the rest of the day, I inputted his number into every account I worked that day as a way of reaching the clients. It must have been at least 75. The beauty of this is that for the next month, I got to hear about and or see him receive dozens of calls looking for all different people. At first, he tried to explain that he was not this person and to remove his number, but they never did. Lol. He would scream at them and ask them why they were doing this to him, that there's no reason all these people would have his number. He would make false threats saying that he had obtained a lawyer and that he was going to sue them for harassment, but nothing stopped the calls. He eventually bit the bullet and got a new phone provider, and not long after, I broke my lease and got the F out of there. It's been 15 years and I still laugh from time to time. Just thought it was time to share it with all of you. Well, OP, that was a petty revenge and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.